I am not Gal Gadot. But I appreciate you having me here, even though I am not Gal Gadot yet. We'll see. Distinguished guests, dignitaries, members of this global forum on anti-Semitism, I am very, very honored to be here. I am thrilled to be in what I call Eretz Yisrael, which I'm told I should call it Medinat Yisrael when I'm here. And I'm overwhelmed with the opportunity to speak tonight in front of so many people with such knowledge and influence and power. I feel very unworthy, and I'm just very, very grateful to be here, so thank you very much. I am especially touched. I had a really enjoyable time last night, and I'm very inspired to see that the Global Forum has gathered 4 European ministers of justice together with the Israeli Minister of Justice with the goal of demonstrating a civil and appropriate way to handle the problems of hate speech by adopting a code of conduct. So thank you for letting me be even a small part of this. I'd like to thank the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Akiva Tor, and Ron Jacoby for having me here. And I'd also like to thank Consul General in Los Angeles, Sam Grundberg, who has welcomed me here and gave me the opportunity. I've been to Israel many, many times, but this was a very special trip, and I appreciate being given the time not only to be here, but also to see some of my family. So thank you, Sam, for getting me here. We really appreciate it. Although it's not what I was asked to do or to be for you tonight, I feel that somehow I'm representing all Jewish celebrities by standing here. I most certainly do not represent all Jewish celebrities, nor do I represent all Jewish Americans or all Zionists in America. But what I hope to do here in my time tonight is to talk about my relationship to anti-Semitism as a Jewish celebrity, as an American Jewish celebrity, and yes, as a Zionist American Jewish celebrity. I'm choosing to speak about the anti-Semitism that I have experienced, although I could ignore it. We all could ignore it. But we do need to confront this. Why? Because it illustrates that everyone who is attending this global forum already knows anti-Semitism is not simply the hatred of Jews. It is a very deep and disgusting societal ill. To confront it does not only make Jews or Zionists or Israel safe, we have the capacity to make the world safer as we better understand and confront the roots and the dissemination of anti-Semitism. What I decided to do is share a few examples of the anti-Semitism that I have experienced in my interactions with the public through social media. And I share this with the following caveat. Thank God I have not experienced the kind of anti-Semitism many Jews experience in their lives. I cannot even begin to fathom what my family experienced in Poland, in Hungary, and Ukraine as anti-Semitism tore through those regions during and before World War II. Nor can I imagine a time when people were asked where their horns were, or were called dirty Jew, as my father was growing up in the 1950s and 60s in New York. But I am aware that I have a unique and hopefully interesting lens with which I perceive and interact with anti-Semitism, and I hope that maybe my experience can shed some light on the dynamics of politics surrounding Jews and attitudes about Jews as we begin this 21st century with a level of technology and interaction that none of us ever imagined in our youth, except perhaps the millennials who are here. So to give you some context, I'm going to list some numbers that describe sort of who I am in the public world. And I really hate listing these kinds of numbers because in the scope of the universe and in the scope of what I believe my purpose on this planet is, as an extension of what I believe is a divine mission to repair the world, these numbers about me are nothing. They really mean nothing. But what they do provide is some context. So I currently reach almost 2 million people through Facebook. I reach 2.6 million on Instagram. Actually, at the time that I wrote this speech, it was 2.5, but I updated it today. I reach over 600,000 on Twitter, and my YouTube channel which features videos produced by my best friend and my partner in crime, Emmanuel Shalev, has 300, oh, he gets applause, he does. My YouTube channel has 350,000 subscribers who have viewed more than 100 million minutes of me talking about everything. That's more than my boyfriend has to listen to in a day. Talking about everything from Judaism to breastfeeding to my complicated divorce to the music that I played for my father as he lay dying in hospice. In addition, Facebook, which preferentially hosts videos of mine, recently saw the video that I did for Hanukkah hit 10.4 million views. However, I should note that as celebrities go, my reach is actually not enormous. Jim Parsons from The Big Bang Theory has almost 6 million followers on Instagram. I have 2.6 million. Kim Kardashian has 110 million followers on Instagram. The singer Selena Gomez, who I think has the record, is 135 million. And I know you're wondering, what about Gal Gadot? 18 million, it's very impressive. So what I do have, which is unique, is a platform for not only being a celebrity person, which I understand people are interested in, but I have a platform for my writing and for my thoughts through YouTube, through my website, groknation.com, and through the social media platform which most favors conversation and engagement, Facebook. So in addition, on many occasions, I'm interviewed about various things. I have an opportunity to speak off the cuff about issues that are important to me. I think there are some journalists here that I have spoken to. Again, before I go into sort of some of the anti-Semitism that I have experienced, I would like to, again, humbly acknowledge my ancestors and forgive me, God in heaven, for my existence, and thank my parents and those closest to me for helping me figure out what about me I can and should share. And that's really why I'm standing here today. So again, I'm very humbly grateful to be here. And that being said, the place that I find myself in life is the place that lets me hear 5 categories of things about myself. So I'm gonna go through kind of 5 categories, which I have a sense of humor about some of these things, which is not to undermine the significance of them, but when these things are said about you and to you, I think you have to find a way to find kind of some humor at the absurdity. So it's okay to laugh. As my grandmother said, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Okay, maybe only American Jewish grandmothers say that. All right, the things I hear about myself fall into 5 categories. The first, and there are also lots of nice things people say about me, but for the purposes of our evening, category 1, Jew haters and general hatred. Examples, and these are literally lifted from the pages of Facebook, etc. I am sorry that you are Jewish. Mind your words, you bastard kike, big-nosed bastard mongrel Jew. You bow to a false god. Jews never had a homeland. That's what made them so obsessive over the years. I'm disliking this page and I'm not Muslim. Interesting. May you suffer the horror you bring upon the Palestinians. So that's category 1. That's Jew haters and general hatred. Category 2. Category 2 is Israel haters. It is Israel who is committing genocide with the assistance of taxpayers' money from the US, making every citizen of the US that pays taxes an accessory to murder. We give way too much money to this sick country. You should be ashamed of yourself for supporting Israel. Your soul has been bought and sold by evil. Stop Israel with 3 exclamation points. Mayim, your public support of Israel will probably, this one is funny, hold on. Mayim, your public support of Israel will probably win you your next Emmy, but not a soul. I have yet to win an Emmy, so, you know, come on, Israel. Death to Israel, sorry. Death to Israel, I swear you'll pay a heavy price. The resistance of Al-Qassam is ready for you. Category 3, so getting a little bit more specific, not just Israel haters, but Zionist haters. The Zionists are evil and controlled and owned by the Rothschilds. It's one I haven't heard in a while. This one is interesting. Being a Jew is okay, but not being a Zionist. Turns out that this was someone trying to alert the presses. Turns out that Mayim Bialik, who plays Amy Farrah Fowler in The Big Bang Theory, is a Zionist. She falls into the stupid and idiot category despite the fact that she has a PhD in neuroscience. She has the blood of those women, children, and other Gazans murdered by the IDF on her hands. Ugh, is it true? You donated money to the Zionist scumbags that are committing genocide? If that's the case, you have certainly lost many fans. We don't support genocide. So that was category 3, Zionist haters. Category 4 is people calling for boycotts of me or The Big Bang Theory. So this one is in all caps, but I can't shout because I'm fighting a throat infection, but it's in all caps, so picture someone shouting. The Big Bang Theory just lost so much appeal simply because of your presence in it. It's kind of funny, like that's terrible and sort of funny. The Big Bang Theory is one of my favorite series, but not anymore, and I'm going to boycott it. I will never support a series which has actors like Mayim Bialik who support and assist child killers. Goodbye, The Big Bang Theory. Since Mayim Bialik wants to side with an organization that is committing war crimes, making friends with a Hitler-like mentality, boycott anything to do with her. Make that commitment and boycott The Big Bang Theory. And the 5th category, because it's Nazi references. This is hard, like these are hard. Adolf Hitler coming anytime soon. You traumatized us enough with Blossom, which is funny, that's funny. Now you're showing how inhumane and ignorant you are. By condoning this genocide, you are condoning the Nazi Holocaust as well. Shame on you. Hashtag stop Israeli war crimes. Hashtag free Palestine, hashtag free Gaza, hashtag boycott Israel, hashtag boycott Big Bang Theory, hashtag, forgive me, hope they fire your tuchus. It doesn't say tuchus, it says the other word. And finally, Israelis equals Nazis. Although there are indeed far worse things to have said about you, and there are far worse things in this world than being a public person, these types of comments, which I receive in the hundreds, have taught me a few things. And also, I'm going to go off script for a second. Sometimes these things have been in relation to direct comments that I have made about Israel. I did donate money for vests in the last war. But sometimes these comments come simply from a statement of fact, such as, I have been to Israel, or I have family in Israel, or acknowledging that Israel exists. So before I go into sort of the aspects of anti-Semitism that I've sort of gleaned from these 5 categories, I think it's really important, and this is what I say when I'm asked by the press. There are certain people for whom simply being Jewish or supporting the right of the state of Israel to exist is enough for them to elicit this kind of hatred, and that's not acceptable, in my opinion. So the first thing that I've learned is that anti-Semitism has changed, obviously. The notion that matzah is made with the blood of Christian children seems mostly an obsolete accusation. That kind of anti-Semitism is absent from most of our lives and from my life as an American Jew living in Los Angeles. However, my interactions are with a much larger audience than my parents' generation or my grandparents' generation, because of my public position, but also because of the nature of interaction and communication today. So the internet and the transmission of information, including false information and hatred, has made the politics and the business of anti-Semitism a more global and less centralized locale. So it's not something that might happen when you go to the market to buy a loaf of bread, but it's something that you can find kind of everywhere all of the time. In this new world that we're living in, and for me as a public person who lives in the public sphere, where the internet is the method of a lot of communication in my life, anti-Semitism now has a deep and significant reach in ways that it really never did, and I'm being touched by it in ways that I never was before. The second thing that my time in the public eye has demonstrated for me about anti-Semitism is how much Israel has become a dominant feature of the hatred of Jews. I would not and will not distance myself from my statements, from my support for the state of Israel, and my belief that Israel has a right to exist in safety. But the role that anti-Semites have painted of Israel as antithetical to liberal politics is something I never imagined that I would see to this extent in my lifetime. Otherwise, intelligent, educated individuals I know who know little about Israel are very quick to hurl anti-Semitic insults, accusations, and assumptions at anyone who believes in the right of Israel to exist in certain cases. Being a lover of Israel, being a Jew in many cases, is enough to earn anti-Semitism, it seems. My third observation is that, indeed, so many people, and especially young people around the world, but also in the United States, do not know what Zionism is, like even the definition. And I know this may not surprise many of you who work in the spheres of people's understandings and misunderstandings, but for me, as a second-generation American raised speaking Yiddish, it came as somewhat of a surprise that most people that I met, for example, in the public university that I went to UCLA, did not know the difference between anti-Zionism and racism. They did not see through the propaganda that was plastered all over my university, declaring that Israelis are Nazis, or at that time that Ariel Sharon was equivalent to Hitler. The lack of understanding of the definition of Zionism, especially among young people, especially in liberal circles, astounds me, and it upsets, it's disturbing. And the lack of understanding about the distinct role that Israel holds for Jews and for non-Jews also astounds me. In addition, the swiftness with which so many other minority populations will side with any group against Jews and Zionists really devastated me as a young college student. I was very nervous to speak tonight because I feel like all of these examples really pale in comparison to the racism and the bigotry and the hostility that so many Jews experience. I have grown up privileged in the sense that the anti-Semitism of my parents' generation and beyond is largely absent from my current reality. I have a truly blessed life. I would never want anyone to think that you should feel sorry for me for the life that I have, or the comments that I receive, or even the backlash that I experience as a proud Zionist and a Jew. I'm happy to take that public bullet for this state. That being said, I do hope that my comments have provided even a small window into the experience that many Jews have in the public eye. And if we were doing a Q&A, which I know we're not doing tonight, I know the question would be, where are the other Jews? And the fact is, I can't speak for other Jews, I can't speak for other Jewish celebrities, but it's very, very complicated, and a lot of people don't want to deal with the kind of things that I deal with, and I can't judge that. But I don't have answers for every single Jewish celebrity. Maybe Sam does. He's still working on it in his time in Los Angeles. The decision that I make on a daily basis about what to talk about and what to share, what to feel, what to say about Israel, these things come with a heavy price. The price for me has not yet, that I know of, impacted my acting career. But it has impacted the way that I am seen. And that does impact my career in terms of speaking engagements, in terms of endorsements, in terms of my writing, in terms of the kind of things that Emmanuel has to deal with when explaining who I am and what I stand for and why. Because I am outspoken, and I have chosen to be outspoken about Israel. I wonder how many of the criticisms I get come from people unwilling or uninterested in me because of my stance simply on Zionism. God forbid it should be because I'm Jewish, but there are certain things I may never know. I'm very grateful to the internet in so many ways. The internet has a novel capacity for connecting people, for enabling a deeper understanding of the world around us, perpetuates the spread of knowledge in a way none of us ever imagined. And as such, it is a tremendously important and powerful vehicle for advancing human dignity and human potential. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be alive and be able to speak freely about my love for this country, which my grandparents prayed for as they fled Eastern Europe, and to hopefully educate people through my public platform about the truth about Zionism and Jews and the State of Israel. But as I have described it, and as we all know, the internet also holds a new capacity for hatred, for division, and for the spread of darkness. Is there a way to harness this incredible technology to make this a more peaceful, a more compassionate world? I hope that will be the case. I also hope that the prayer that I wrote on a tiny slip of paper and inserted into the wall today will become true, that tomorrow I will wake up as Gal Gadot. I'm sorry. I'm a comedian, I couldn't help it. I remain devoted to my people, to this country, to my faith, and I hope to somehow use my position to combat, even in small ways, the ignorance and the hatred that continues to breed anti-Semitism, even if only one follower at a time. Thank you. God bless the Jewish people. God bless the State of Israel. Am Yisrael Chai.